What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Real Word Podcast, a place where real thoughts, real ideas, and real words come to life. I'm your host, Drew, coming from San Diego, California. Thank you for stopping by, tuning in, checking out the channel. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit up those links down below. And now we can get into the episode. It is July 17th, 2020. Welcome in. It is Friday. Welcome to the end of the week, the work week. Let's get the weekend started. But does that even mean anything again? I mean, with all the changes going on, with all the closures going on, does it even matter again? It seems like we're heading back into this second wave of shutdowns. And yeah, I'm not really sure what it's going to mean or how strict this wave is going to be. I did read something that more people are, they initially filed for unemployment and then they were just getting back going, getting started with some work again, and now people are starting to file for unemployment for the second time around. So that sucks. That's kind of, a little frustrating, a little unfortunate. And it just seems like, you can go back and listen to my podcast from 2 months ago. It's like I've been saying this since then. It's like I said, as soon as there was like a little hope of us reopening, I was like, they're going to use that to let us open, create this spike in numbers, and then shut us down again. And it's like I said that pretty early on, and it's been my prediction for quite a while now. And it just seems like a lot of the things that I've predicted have been, coming true. And again, I'm not saying that like I can see the future or anything like that. It's just, no, I've been into, the truth movement and, these conspiracy theories for so long now that it's like I can kind of see the game plan and I can see I could kind of predict what the next move will be. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but it just seems like with this situation, they've just been so blatant about it that you can kind of predict the game plan. And it's just like a sports team or something. You know what I mean? It's like they have a playbook, and you can, if you play them so much, you can figure it out. You can, become like aware of what they're gonna do, and just, like say who is like the Patriots, and who do they always beat up on? Like the Jets or something. Is like the Patriots are, or who gets the best of the Patriots? So just say the Patriots are like, the government, and just whoever gets the best of them every once in a while, like whoever, I don't know who it would be, but whenever they play, okay, let's say it's like this, back when it was San Diego Chargers and let's say the Raiders or something. So Chargers would be like the government, where they are, I don't really know exactly how to explain it, but when they play the Raiders usually got the best of the Chargers in these later seasons. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you know the playbook, you can adjust for it and figure it out. Don't exactly know how to explain the comparison, but it's like the government sticks to one playbook. And if you see it so often and have spent years, studying their playbook and studying these things, then eventually when it's go time, when it's game time, when something happens, you can be prepared and be like, oh, this is the game they're playing, this is the move they're making and stuff. So that's the best way I can kind of put it and kind of equate it, is like just studying a playbook and then when it comes down to game time, it's like you got to make the best decision what you think they're running, you know what I mean? So that's the best way I can put it, and that's how I feel like it is. It's just interesting. Let's get into a little dab, and then we'll kind of get into a couple things. I do have some things written down. Man, it's been really tough for me, like, to just kind of stay focused, and I'll like hear stories throughout the couple, like a day or two, and then by the time I want to like research it or like want to get ready for my show, dude, all of that information just goes out of my head, and I don't remember the stories that I want to look up, and it's frustrating. So it's like whenever I see a story, I really need to just take a note of it in my phone, in my notes app, and just write it down, this story or this topic or whatever, because man, there's just so many good stories going on out there that I just can't keep up. Like, it's hard to keep up with anything. It's like, what sector of news or whatever do I want to kind of dive into? And it's just, yeah, it's been challenging keeping up with all of the information and news and stuff. And it's like, I just feel like that's what they want. They want to just keep you like overwhelmed with information and news, and so that way you just can't ever really see what is truly going on. That's what I feel. But it is what it is. Right now we got this indica, so we're starting out the morning a little heavy. Got this Sky OG from Dime Bag. Got this concentrate, so we'll start out with that. And that's all we actually have. I don't have any other concentrates. I don't have my bong out here. So this indica is how we will be getting it this morning. So that's all good. Like I said, I never mind an indica. It's just sativas are usually good for the morning. But hey, indicas are great as well. I love them. I love them. But especially like a Sky OG, like a Skywalker OG or something like that. Gotta love it. All right, cheers, everybody. Oh, yeah. Oh. So, let's get into it. Yesterday was rough for me, man. The last couple of days have been rough mentally. And that's why it's been hard to like keep up with anything, and it's just my mind just races and just constantly goes, and it's like it's just always the same stuff that I struggle with. And you know, that's why I'm in therapy. I know I have things to work on. I have to get better, and yeah, it's just finding out some of these like underlying issues that I have and why I get triggered the way I get triggered, and I need to learn like more self-control and discipline. You know, there's a whole list of things that I need to get better at. But it's just a really tough situation because I try to, like I said, by going to therapy, I try by keeping myself somewhat structured and busy throughout the day, even though sometimes I don't. But you know, I try and give myself things to care about, like the plants, the garden I have, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying in that aspect. I just, all I want is for things to be nice, you know, in all situations in my life. And it just seems like I always do the wrong thing, or I say the wrong thing, and it's like my intentions are never bad. Like, honestly, 100%, my intentions are never bad. um, I just see things from a just, I guess, a completely different point of view from a majority of people. And the way I think and the way I, handle certain things is just really blunt and honest and straightforward sometimes. And, being that blunt with family or those who you love or whatever can get you in kind of trouble sometimes. But it's like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to lie or sugarcoat something or whatever. And it's like, I don't know. It's just yeah, it's a frustrating thing because it's like, I never mean to hurt anybody, like, intentionally. Like I said, my intentions are never bad. I just want the truth. I just want honesty. I just want, yeah, like I said, I just want things to be nice. And my point of view on things is usually, like, I don't want to say best for all, but I have everybody in mind with my thoughts and with what I want. So it's like, it's frustrating. It really is frustrating because it's like, if you go along, like, and I hate to do, like, say that, like, if you go along with what I say, everything will be great. Because no, that's not what I'm saying. But it's like, with what I have and what I want, it involves everybody and everybody's happiness and getting what they want as well. And it's like, oh, it's just super frustrating. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, the should be interesting. I just know, like I said, I'm just super blunt. I'm just super, like, just straightforward with things. I'm going to just tell it how it is. And I know that got me kind of in trouble with my brother, which is unfortunate. And, I haven't seen him in a while, and I know he's been busy with school. I've talked about this. Um, but he reached out yesterday and, wanted to maybe come by this weekend and just talk some things out, kind of state where he's at and what he feels and all that. And I guess we're gonna try and have that conversation and stuff. And I don't know what's gonna happen. It's like, I just wish people would take me more seriously, because, like, I really do try and do as much research as possible when it comes to the topics I talk about. Like, I don't really want to just bring up topics that I don't really know about. So when I do bring them up, I really try and be well researched. When it's stuff like this in the news, like I'm saying, I'll be honest with you and I'll tell you, oh, I didn't really read it much. I just kind of skimmed through it or whatever. But most of the time I try and, like, do a deep dive into it and just kind of really see what's going on. And that has always been the case with me. If I find something interesting, I'm going to, like, dive deep into it and explore it. You know what I mean? And like I've said many times before, I'll listen to a podcast or a radio show or whatever, an interview, whatever it is. And if they say something interesting or something crazy that's like, what? No way that can be true. Or, oh, that's super interesting. I gotta look into that. Then I'll go look into it and see if it's factual, see if it's true, see if I could, like, do whatever research on it. And that's how I come about my information. It's like usually hearing about it from somewhere else, someone else, and then not just relying on that one person stating it, then doing a bunch of other research and, hours upon hours of video watching or reading or what, like, and then when I bring this stuff up to have a conversation, I just get ignored or discounted or basically like called crazy. Like nobody in my family calls me crazy, but I feel like that's how they look at me because I think differently and point things out. And it's like the biggest thing that happened, like with me and my brother over the last month, is so this I got we got into it. It was like around my birthday, I think. And then yeah, it was actually on my birthday. And we got into like this argument or debate or whatever it was. And I basically called him brainwashed for going to school and stuff. And my mom pointed this out to me yesterday because she came by after she got off work. We went on a walk and then she um took me out to dinner. We went to yeah, so we just got some but anyway, we were just talking about this and um she was just saying like, "Oh yeah, you were just saying like you were so proud of him for getting straight A's and all this stuff." And it's like, "I am." That doesn't take away from the fact, like, I think that's awesome. He's if that's what he wants to do and that's how he's finding his way and stuff, that's awesome. And I am super proud of he's putting in the work and he deserve, you know what I mean? Like, of course, that's awesome. But at the same time, that doesn't mean, like, I looked up the definition of brainwashing and it says a forcible indoctrination of a new set of attitudes or beliefs. That is exactly what school does. I don't care what you say. I looked up some things. Oh, despite what conspiracy theorists claim, is not school does not brainwash. Dude, look at the definition and look at what school is. That's what it is. So me saying I'm sorry, well, no, I'm not sorry. But if you are that sensitive, like, I guess I don't know what to do, but that's the way I feel. That's the way, I mean, on it, like, is it not factually based? So again, what I try and do is go off facts. And based on that definition, school is brainwashing and all kids have been brainwashed, like, and taught to be, if you go to like a public school and you're learning that curriculum, you are being brainwashed. And that's just based on the definition. So like, yeah, everybody's been brainwashed to an extent, but if you continue that education, you're still being brainwashed. You know what I mean? And I could be being brainwashed in a different way by watching YouTube videos or whatever, but it's still, I'm not just being brainwashed by one person. I'm like getting a whole different mix of stuff and not just one set of curriculum that has been, what they have to teach, the message that they have to teach. It's like my brother was saying, like, they just make up the curriculum on their own and stuff. And I was like, dude, no, they don't. It's like, yes, they can adapt their curriculum to current events, but it's still the core curriculum that they have to teach and they have to get out of. So yes, there's some adaptation, there's some, creativity going on with it, but at the core, there's still a curriculum that they have to follow. So I don't know, man. It's just so again, I don't understand why I can't, one, be proud of them, but also point out the fact that that is what it is and why you get so defensive or why people would get so defensive. Hey, if it's not brainwashing, tell me, explain it to me differently. But based on the definition, to me and my understanding, that's exactly what school is. And that's what it does. So I don't know, like, and for someone to get so defensive and so hurt by it, it's just, it sucks, because, like, it's my family, and it's like, dude, yeah, I've been brainwashed too, you know what I mean? It's like, everybody has. It doesn't take away from the fact that you're killing it in school, and I fucking love you for that. Like, that's fucking awesome. Like, you're my brother. Like, come on. Like, I know we're gonna, like, talk and stuff, but, man, it's It's frustrating, man. Like, so there's just all this going on in my head, man. Like, there's just so much weighing down on me, and I just seem to always push those I love away the most, and I I don't get it, man. And it's like all I want to do is be honest, tell the truth, and just seems like it never goes good though, and I don't know what that says. I really don't. It just has been my whole life though. And that's why I don't have many friends, because it's like I'll eventually fucking push them away, or you know, say some shit or disapprove of some shit, or I don't know. And that's me, and that's, again, why I need to go to therapy and have things to work on. And it's like I wish I would have enjoyed going to therapy more when I was younger, because maybe some of these bad habits could have been worked on a lot sooner. Maybe some of this personality stuff could have been caught a lot sooner. Um, and corrected, and you know what I mean? But it's like that's all I can do now, but there is just I'm 29 years old now, so and it basically started from 5 years old. So what? That's like 24 something years of just bad habits and bad behavior learned, and yeah, it's just how do you fix that? And how do you fix it quickly? Like, I don't think there is a like a fast fix for that. So I don't know, but all I can do is keep trying, and I do appreciate those who reach out, check on me and stuff. Those couple friends that I do have, like it does mean a lot, but I still struggle, and I'm not always in a responsive way when I get in this kind of mindset dealing with texts and all that, because it's like I'm not only focused on one thing, but I only kind of want to hear from one person and stuff. And you guys aren't them, you know what I mean? And like I said, I appreciate it like a lot, and it does make me feel good when you guys reach out, and I try and respond at least a little bit or whatever. And yeah, so like I said, that again, that's more stuff that I have to work on and be more open to and receptive to, is not just being focused on one person, and actually being, accepting of these friends reaching out, and going with that instead of just putting all of my energy into that one thing. So definitely, if you're listening, keep reaching out. Like, it does mean a lot to me, and I do appreciate it. And again, that's something I have to kind of work on getting better at, being more open and receptive and accepting of people reaching out. So that is what it is. I have an appointment in a little while. A little bit later this morning. And we got the results of that personality test. So we're going to be discussing that. So that should be interesting. Kind of nervous, but excited to kind of see what that's all about, and kind of what it says, and if we can kind of get a better understanding of myself. So, like I said, I think there was one question that I answered wrong. Not wrong, but it was a true false thing, and I said true and I meant to say false, but that was just a one thing, and I hope it shouldn't sway things too much in one way or the other. But yeah, that should be interesting. I'm really looking forward to that, but also pretty nervous. So Yeah, that will be something, you know? And I definitely need this appointment. There has been a lot going on that I need to talk about. I don't know if we're just going to be talking about test results or if we can just kind of, go through that real quick. But I definitely have some things that I need to ask and also get off my chest because, it's been a tough last few days for sure. And man, it just seemed like normally I go another week. Like normally I only go every 2 weeks, but I knew I needed the results, so I wanted that, and then I also knew I like from like 3 days ago I was like, oh man, things are not going good. So definitely looking forward to the appointment. Man, my eyes got all heavy because of that dab. Like all of a sudden it was just hitting me. I was like, oh my eyes. But so there are a few things that we can talk about. Let's start with a couple of. So, I guess all of this is actually somewhat local. So, that's kind of funny. Let's start with. Let's go with the furthest away locally. Man, what's the furthest away? Let's start out with this. So, on July 30th, my buddy made it aware to me. He posted this flyer thing, sent me a message about it and stuff. In Temecula, there's gonna be a Save the Children protest. Just excuse me, because of everything going on with the child trafficking. Trump has come out and said 800,000 kids or something like that are going missing a year, and it's from the Democrats and all that. I don't know who is doing what, but there definitely seems to be something going on, and dealing with all the Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein stuff, and now I don't know, that whole Wayfair thing is really interesting, and the Amazon, and just certain products and stuff like that. There's just some real strange stuff going on, and it's cool to see someone finally organize this type of protest because it just feels like this has never been a focal point of the outrage, and it's like, why would it not? Like, this is what we need justice on. Like, this is the stuff that we can really get behind, that should unify all races, all, like, everybody, because unless you're fucking crazy, like a psychopath or sociopath or something, and you really don't care about people or kids or some, you know what I mean? Like kids going missing and stuff, then this definitely isn't for you. But unless, like, if you aren't a psychopath, sociopath, or or have those crazy things, like, I hate using the word crazy, because I get called crazy too. Um, but if you have those problems, you know what I mean, like that, you wouldn't be able to necessarily grasp this type of thing. But any, again, I hate saying normal person should be outraged at this type of stuff, and for someone, again, like I said, to finally organize something, and I guess more information will be released and announced as it gets closer to the time of the event. But that could be something to definitely check out. It's in Temecula, so it's not too far. But it's not, right down the street or anything. But that is really important, and if this is something I've been vocal about and been talking about, and I should really put my money where my mouth is, and go out there, and and Go protest and see what it's about, because these things are definitely important, and I just feel more people need to be aware of it. And again, I just don't think people really realize how many kids go missing a year. And shout out to B.O.B. because in one of his songs on the Elements mixtape, he says the Queen of England has an arrest warrant for them for missing children. And again, that's where I hear something. I'm like, no way, what the fuck? He's just talking, like, that's crazy. I look it up and it's true. Like, why is nothing being happening? Like, why is nothing happening about this stuff? You know what I mean? Like, why does it take a conspiracy theorist or someone like in entertain, like, why does it take someone saying this stuff, but they get called crazy, they get blackballed from the industry, they have to, get cut from their labels and all this stuff? I'm not saying B.O.B. had that happen, but I think he really started taking time to more have an independent style and a more DIY style. I wouldn't be surprised if he's still on Grand Hustle, which I would assume be owned by Universal. So I still think he's on a major label, but you know, he said these things, and this is just a perfect example of what I was talking about. I had no idea about this subject. He said this thing about the Queen of England having arrest warrants. I look it up, read multiple things, and it's true. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then Trump comes out and says, this is happening. And it's crazy. It really is. So I just think, it's cool and it's really interesting that someone is finally organizing this type of protest, because this should be an all-inclusive type of protest. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be a political statement. It shouldn't be a race statement. This should unify everybody, and for a great cause, because if people are hurting children, stealing children, using children and stuff, that is just an awful thing, and we need to that's what we need justice for. You know what I mean? Like, what are we gonna abolish the police and let this shit still happen? Like, and even then it would be on an even more mass scale, because what's gonna happen? They're not gonna go to jail, and there's no police gonna be out there. So you know what I mean? I don't know. But again, maybe I'm one of those those crazy people. I don't know. So this is an interesting topic again. So this whole Nick Cannon situation. So I only saw one clip where he kind of said white people are lacking melanin, so that makes them less of people, and they're trying to act like savages and all this stuff. It's like, okay, whatever. Sounds pretty fucking racist. And then I heard, like I said, I think I mentioned this in the video, that then I heard he said something about like some anti-Semitic stuff, but I didn't see that or read it or anything like that, so I wasn't sure. But I did read a little something, and what he said was Semitic people are black people, and basically they can't be anti-Semitic or something like that. Or he said Semitic people Semitic people are black people. So he's basically saying black people are Jewish people. And he also said, he said Semitic people are black people, meaning he can't be anti-Semitic. But he was saying that Jewish people basically run the world and they own kind of everything. And that, I think, is why he got canceled and fired from Viacom and stuff, because when you're going after that type of truth, They don't like that. And I don't understand why it's a big deal when all people do. It's like, dude, you can't even point out facts that Jewish people own shit without being labeled anti-Semitic. It's fucking crazy. When you look at shit and see who owns what, these people who say Jewish people own everything, they're usually true. You know what I mean? So, how is that anti Semitic when you're just kind of pointing out the truth and like facts? Like, hey, these people all kind of own things that are running our lives, from music to, you know, just music, entertainment to TV to just like everything. Like I remember when I like probably a year ago or so, I was looking into this stuff and I found this page of all Jewish owned everything. And it was throughout architecture, like landscape, like everything at some sort of high level, top level, owner level. That's what it was. And to point that out, you get labeled anti-Semitic and racist and all this stuff, and it's like, how? When it's true, you know? I don't get it. And it just seems like a few predominant black people. I know Ice Cube as well has kind of been spouting off some of this same stuff. And I know initially when this whole virus stuff was going on and George Floyd and all that, again, Ice Cube is a really complicated person in my eyes because I grew up listening to him a lot. I've been to a couple of his concerts, and I really, really liked him growing as I was growing up. You know what I mean? But him spouting off some of the stuff he was spouting off about George Floyd and that whole stuff when the riots and protests initially started going down, I just really was critical and vocal about how he was acting and stuff. Or reacting, I should say. And now I guess he's kind of gone down the other rabbit holes where, then he started going talking about Black Cuba Saturn and, you know, Satan worshippers and and then it got to I guess the anti-Semitic stuff or whatever where he was talking about this kind of stuff and um yeah, like I said, so Ice Cube is just a real interesting figure in my mind because he just seems to play both sides, honestly. And I don't know what that means, but it seems like he was pretty vocal about this even early on, you know what I mean? That's I think one of the reasons why he left NWA was because of the management and, what wasn't Jerry Heller or something like that? I don't know. I could be wrong about that, but I seems like he's always been vocal about certain things, but then he just can kind of play both sides. Play that mainstream side, but then also play that where I came from, that hood street shit that I loved growing up. Um. So yeah, man, all that stuff's really interesting, and like I said, the Nick Cannon thing just has somewhat of a connection to San Diego because that's where he's from. So I started with Temecula, which was not San Diego, and then Nick Cannon, who was born here but now in like LA and all that stuff. So I didn't know how to kind of start those first two. I didn't know which was the furthest away from San Diego connection wise, but I would assume Temecula. Um, just because Nick Cannon does have a real tie here to San Diego. So um, Now we can get into a couple of the other San Diego stories. So let's get into this one and then actually let's get into this. So last night I saw this morning, man. So dude, Ice-T retweeted this and I was like, what the fuck? And it happened to be here in San Diego. So I was like, what? This is crazy. Last night or early this morning, I guess there was like a car crash on a freeway or something. And, like always, when a bad crash happens, firefighter comes and all that kind of stuff. And I think the firefighter was helping out. Next thing you know, a cop pulls the firefighter away and arrests him or detains him. Like, I don't know to what extent it ended up going down, but this cop, like, detained or arrested a firefighter for helping out, and the reason was for parking over a little bit over the line or something like that. And cops do that shit all the time. And from the news report, they're saying, like, the cop's information is not being revealed, and, they're not saying who it was or anything like that. So what is going on? Like, this makes no sense. Why would a cop arrest a firefighter for helping at a car crash? Like, what is going on in the world? Everything is going crazy, man. Everything is going crazy this year. Up is down, down is up, right is left, left is right. It's just nuts, man. It really is. And that was down in like Chula Vista. So, yeah, I have no idea. That's just insane to me. Like, honestly, like, what the hell? Why would a cop do that? And again, there was like no explanation besides he parked over the line a little bit. And I don't know what line they're talking, like, I don't know exactly what they're talking about, but that does not seem like a reason to be arrested or detained. Maybe a quick ticket. Like, what the, but why would it, oh my god. But is that cop gonna go bust some of his cops for doing some shady shit? No. God, like, things are a mess right now, man. Like, honestly, things are crazy. Things are out of control. Let's get into this last story that I had. So this was kind of a viral clip. I remember when this kind of happened a couple months ago, I want to say now. But this lady, like, was going to a Starbucks, and this, again, was here in San Diego. And they made this video of the barista who wouldn't serve her for not wearing a mask or whatever. And that barista ended up having a GoFundMe raise like $100,000 for what? Like, that's insane. But whatever. If people want, I think that's fucking stupid. But now this woman who got denied is now looking to possibly sue one for discrimination because they denied her service and she had proof. She didn't have it on her at the time, I believe, but she had proof that she was exempt from wearing a mask from a chiropractor plus one other source as well, I believe. Let's get into this dab and then we'll continue. Cheers. So she was exempt from wearing a mask, and Starbucks and this barista denied her service. And if she has proof, then I feel, based on the law and the ADA, she has a case and she can sue, and Starbucks should be held accountable. And this type of behavior definitely should not be rewarded by a GoFundMe. And the lady is seeking half of that $100,000 that was raised. And I completely agree with her, because how is it okay to be discriminated against, like, and denied service because of your disability? Like, that's not okay. We have laws in place for that reason. That's very discriminatory. And for you to just, like, I don't care if you're scared. Like, honestly, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I have a reason I'm not wearing a mask. You know what I mean? Like, a mask will put me at risk. And you know what I mean? So it's like, for them to deny me service, or in this situation, deny her service, it's like, that's not okay. It really isn't. Like, there are people who are exempt from wearing a mask, and we still have the right to operate throughout our day without being denied service. Like, we have that right. And for it to be rewarded by a GoFundMe and raised up to $100,000, are you insane? For a discrimination? Like, I thought we were moving past all this shit. Like, laws are in place to stop that from happening, and yet here we are, discriminating against the disabled. The fuck, man? Just because I'm not visibly handicapped or what, you don't know that I don't have a disability? Like, God, that's not cool. And I really hope this lady sues and gets that money, because I almost bet that person, like, fucking spent that money like that. I hope not. I hope that person is smart and holds on to it and realizes, hey, maybe now there could be a potential case, and don't spend that money, because this is not okay. And this is happening here in San Diego. And I know people are so, divided about the mask situation, but you have to understand, people are exempt. People do have disabilities, and you have no right to judge or discriminate against them. And it's really frustrating seeing people in the media and stuff like that not even address that. And they'll just come out and say, oh, and laugh at these people who have made these exemption cards themselves, because, yeah, they probably do want to just skirt around not wearing a mask. But, hey, you have no right to inquire about my disability. If I say I have one, as a business, you have no rights after that to ask about it. So I really do hope that this lady takes action and wins, because I personally thought we had laws in place where discrimination was illegal and not okay. And we have the ADA in place for these reasons, and I'm sure there's laws in place for these reasons as well. And for a pandemic to come about and change laws and discriminate against the disabled, nah, we cannot have that. So we need to stick up for people. And it's like, again, we need to stick up for those. Just because you can't see my disability or whatever, we need to stick up for those who do have a disability, who can't vocalize it, and are in these situations where they're being denied. You know what I mean? We need to bring awareness to people because this is not okay. It really isn't. And for it to be rewarded is just kind of sickening. It really is. And again, the like glorification of the masks in the media is just insane. And it's like they just disregard, even the warnings on the mask says they don't prevent anything from the coronavirus COVID-19. You know what I mean? And then the CDC has come out and said only wear a mask if you're dealing with somebody who has it. So it's like these masks are bullshit. And everybody, it's so divisive, and it's just like people are just falling in line and just falling for it. And it's sad, man, like how quickly and easily they were able to just force us to do stuff, and everybody just complies. You know, a majority of the people comply. There is being some pushback, but you know, you get ridiculed in the media, you get, you know, ridiculed online, and it's it's all based on like bullshit. So I don't know, man. I don't know. That's why it's like I have to stand up and fight for those who can't, you know? Bring awareness to it. And it's just one of those things. It's like people were so, I remember when this happened, people were sticking up for this barista, man, and it's like that's not okay. It really isn't. Like, you're standing up for discrimination. Like, you're sticking up for, you know, people judging other people. And how is that okay? How do we have any right to judge, like, anybody, you know? Unless you're, like, hurting or messing with kids or animals, you know? And that's kind of what I always come down to. So, I don't know, man. Like I said, things are pretty crazy. The world 2020 is just going crazy. What else is going on? So, definitely have some interesting kind of plans coming up. I definitely got to see and talk to Zach about some things, and you know, make sure we're all good about expanding the channel, bringing some new people on, and getting this thing going and pumping, you know, and just figuring out how to just create more, just do more. So we shall see. But I know he was like away and stuff. So whenever he comes back, we'll try and link up. Got some stuff to go over, and yeah, should be interesting and good and all good, I'm assuming. But yeah, I'm excited about what's to come. I definitely got to get this place all cleaned up and, you know, looking all nice, painted or something. I do got to do that. I've just been really, I don't know. Things have just been rough, you know, just so up and down. Up and down, and just it's draining on me mentally. So it's all good though. Should we take one more dab and then get out of here? Let's do that. Let's do that. This has been a good episode. So, been playing some Call of Duty Warzone. go check out my Twitch at it's cult underscore of underscore gaming, or my Activision for PS4 is cult underscore of underscore games. And then there's a bunch of numbers afterwards if I guess if you're on a different platform or whatever. I don't know. We'll have to figure that one out. Maybe I'll post it in the links or whatever down below. Can add me there, play some Call of Duty. Yeah, nothing else has really been going on. My plants are looking really nice, man. The outdoor ones are starting to flower all nice. Indoor ones are looking amazing right now. And those are, a week behind the other ones or so. And those haven't even started to flower, but those are looking just so good, so nice. I'm excited about it. So give it a couple more months, and I will finally be able to have my own stuff. And maybe it's almost time to plant the last couple seeds that I have. So then after that cures and dries, then a couple months later I'll have another round going, Cheers. So yeah, I mean, having a constant cycle would be pretty awesome, Every few months, just a couple months, have a harvest. While one's cured up and all of that, another one is being ready to harvest. That'd be awesome. And that's, probably the goal and the plan for the foreseeable future. And then eventually just the garden as well. Just start growing more of our own produce and stuff like that. We're only in a condo here, but just got to utilize the space as best as possible and, just go for it. But go check out and follow at _No World Order podcast on Instagram. That's where we go live usually on Tuesdays at 2:30 p.m. Pacific time. And go check out all the other links down below. Like I said, I'll try and maybe figure out the gamer tag to add me on Warzone. And I think that is going to be it. I know there is another UFC Fight Night card tomorrow. And there was one on Wednesday that I didn't talk about. It was a pretty decent card. It was okay. I was actually really tired, so I was kind of dozing off during some of it, but I watched the main event all the way through, and I think the co-main all the way through as well. But good stuff. Another UFC event, and I'm not sure when it picks up more, the good fights, or the next pay-per-view, I should say. I'm not sure when that is, but anyway, I think that is going to do it. I appreciate you. Again, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great weekend. Till next time, everybody. Peace.